The first thing she noticed wasn't the child's face. It was the way she stood there, small, trembling, and completely alone in a crowd that refused to see her. Cars rushed past in impatient streams. People moved with purpose. Eyes glued to phones, coffee cups in hand, lives already running late. But in the middle of all that motion stood a little girl in a red coat. Clutching a worn, stuffed rabbit like it was the only thing keeping her, grounded in a world that had suddenly become too big, and no one stopped, except her. Emma tightened her grip on the strap of her bag, her pulse quickening as she glanced down at her watch. 8:42 a.m. Her interview was at 9. This was the one, the job she had spent months chasing, the one that could finally pull her out of overdue bills, late rent notices, and the quiet exhaustion of working 2 part-time jobs just to stay afloat. She had planned everything, her outfit, her answers, even the route to the office. Nothing had been left to chance. Except this. Emma hesitated for half a second, just half. Then she turned and walked toward the girl. "Hey," she said gently, crouching down to meet her at eye level. "Are you okay?" The girl's eyes were glassy with unshed tears. "I can't find my daddy." That was all it took. Emma's chest tightened. She looked around, scanning the crowd, expecting anyone to come rushing forward, panicked, searching. No one did. "What's your name?" Emma asked softly. "Sophie." "Okay, Sophie. We're going to find him, all right?" The girl nodded, but her small hand reached out instinctively, wrapping around Emma's sleeve. That simple touch sealed it. Emma glanced at her watch again. 8:25. She exhaled slowly. "All right," she murmured, more to herself than the child. "We've got time." But deep down, she knew she didn't. They started with the obvious. Emma walked Sophie back and forth along the sidewalk, calling out gently, asking passers-by if they had seen a man looking for a little girl. Most people shook their heads without slowing down. A few barely made eye contact. Minutes slipped by faster than she wanted to admit. 8:52. Where did you last see him?" Emma asked. Sophie pointed vaguely toward the intersection. "We were walking, and then I dropped Mr. Buttons." She held up the stuffed rabbit as proof. "And when I looked up, he was gone." Emma swallowed. The city wasn't kind to lost children. It swallowed them in noise and movement, erased them in seconds. "We're going to try something else," Emma said, forcing a reassuring smile. "We'll ask someone who can help." She spotted a small cafe on the corner and guided Sophie inside. The warmth hit them immediately, along with the smell of coffee and baked bread. A barista looked up from behind the counter, concern flickering across her face as she took in the situation. Within minutes, they were calling local security and describing Sophie's father. Emma checked her watch again. 9:03. The interview had already started. Her stomach twisted. She imagined the receptionist glancing at the clock, the hiring manager making a note beside her name. Late, unreliable, not serious enough. All because she had stopped, because she had chosen this. Emma pressed her lips together, fighting the creeping regret. But then Sophie's hand tightened in hers again, and just like that, the regret softened into something quieter, something steadier. It was nearly 9:30 when the door burst open. A man stumbled inside, his face pale, eyes wild with panic. "Sophie!" The girl's head snapped up. "Daddy!" She tore from Emma's side and ran straight into his arms. The relief in the room was instant, overwhelming. The man dropped to his knees, holding her tightly like he might never let go again. "I thought I lost you," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I dropped Mr. Buttons," Sophie said, her words muffled against his shoulder. He laughed weakly, brushing her hair back. "We'll buy 100 more if we have to. Just don't do that again, okay?" Emma turned slightly, ready to slip out quietly now that everything was okay. But the man looked up and saw her. "You," he said, standing quickly. "You were with her?" Emma nodded. She was alone outside. "I just helped her get somewhere safe." The man stared at her for a moment, his expression shifting from relief to something deeper. Gratitude, yes, but also something heavier, something thoughtful. "I don't know how to thank you," he said honestly. "You don't have to," Emma replied. "She's safe. That's enough." He shook his head. "No, it's not." Emma gave a small smile, already stepping back. "Really, it's okay." Her watch caught her eye again. 9:37. The interview was long gone now. "Take care of her," she added softly, before turning toward the door. "Wait," he called after her. But she didn't stop. Somehow stopping felt harder than walking away. The rejection email came the next morning. Polite, brief, predictable. "We regret to inform you." Emma stared at the screen for a long moment before closing her laptop. It stung. More than she wanted to admit. She had needed that job. Really needed it. But life didn't pause for what-ifs. Rent was still due. Bills still waited. So she did what she always did. She kept going. 3 days later, her phone rang. Unknown number. Emma almost ignored it. Almost. "Hello? Hi, is this Emma Carter?" "Yes. This is Daniel Reed." She frowned slightly. The name meant nothing. "I believe you helped my daughter a few days ago." Emma froze. "Oh, Sophie's dad?" "Yes," he said, warmth threading into his voice. "I've been trying to reach you." "You didn't have to. She was okay, that's what matters." "It does matter," he agreed. "But so do you." Emma didn't know what to say to that. "I'd like to meet you," he continued. "If you're available." She hesitated. Part of her wanted to decline. To brush it off, move on, keep things simple. But something in his tone, steady, sincere, made her pause. "All right," she said finally. The office building was nothing like she expected. Glass walls, polished floors. Quiet, controlled energy that spoke of power and money in ways words didn't need to. Emma stood in the lobby, suddenly aware of her simple outfit, her worn bag. A receptionist smiled. "You're here to see Mr. Reed?" Emma blinked. "Yes, right this way." As they walked, a slow realization began to settle in. This wasn't just an office. This was his office. The doors opened. And there he was, the man from the cafe, now standing behind a sleek desk that seemed to stretch for miles. "Daniel Reed, CEO, Millionaire, maybe more." Emma felt her breath catch. "I guess I should have introduced myself properly," he said with a small smile. "I didn't realize," she admitted. "I'm glad you didn't," he replied. "It means what you did. It wasn't for anything." "It never was," Emma said quietly. "I know." There was a pause. Then he leaned forward slightly. "I looked into you," he said. "I hope you don't mind." Emma stiffened, unsure how to respond. "I saw your application," he continued, "for the position you interviewed for." Her chest tightened. "Well," she said lightly, "I guess I didn't make a great impression." "You didn't make it at all," he corrected gently. "Because you weren't there." Emma looked down. "I had a reason." "I know," he said. Silence stretched between them. Then he smiled. "And I think it was the best reason I've seen in a long time." Emma looked up, confused. "We filled that position," he continued. "But I believe we made a mistake." Her heart skipped. "I'd like to offer you something else." She blinked. "What?" "A role here," he said simply. "Better pay. More responsibility. Real growth." Emma stared at him, unsure if she had heard correctly. "Why?" she asked finally. "Because skill can be taught," Daniel said. "Experience can be gained. But what you showed that day?" He shook his head slightly. "That can't be trained." Emma felt something shift inside her, something fragile, something hopeful. "I just did what anyone should do," she said. He met her gaze. "Not everyone does." That truth settled heavily between them. Emma thought about the missed interview, the rejection email, the doubt that had crept in afterward. All of it. And then she thought about Sophie's small hand gripping hers, trusting her without question, about choosing to stay, about choosing kindness when it cost something. She took a slow breath. "Okay," she said. And for the first time in a long while, it felt like something in her life was finally, quietly falling into place, not because she had chased it, but because for one moment she had stopped and chosen to care.